round of applause for Rick Chandler.
In 2001, I was hired to be the brand manager for Mass Market Cigars. And in this company, the brand manager runs the show. We did the advertising, the promotion, we set pricing, we gave product development priorities, and I loved being the guy in charge. You know, I'd struggled with the idea of working for a tobacco company, but I figured it's cigars, not cigarettes, not quite addictive. You can imagine my surprise when I learned that 90% of all mass market cigars are used to cut open, take the tobacco out, put the pot in, re-roll, and smoke as a joint. Rolling these joints is known as blunting. It's named after Philly's Blunts, which is a short, fat cigar, perfect for smoking weed. And like most trends in this country, it started in the inner city black community and then went out to the young culture, and someday it might even reach the NPR audience. So here I am, a 40-year-old guy, never smoked pot before, didn't know what blunting was, never been in the inner city. You might have noticed, very white, the most boring guy in the world. I'm the brand manager for weed. The funny thing is I was good at this job. See, what you had to do is really get the understanding of your consumer. And to get an understanding of your consumer, you got to go listen to them. And the key there is to show respect. You talk to somebody, and oftentimes it sounds simple, but it's hard. We don't normally really hear. We listen to words, but we don't really hear what people are trying to say. So things get in the way. And if you say, oh yeah, like this, they'll stop talking. And if you get judgmental or stereotype people, you don't get the insight. So for instance, when we were in New York, one of the guys showed us his ID, because they had to show ID, and it was a prison identification. We suspended our judgment and got some great insight from him. When we did research here in Philadelphia, most of the time we were getting Temple student IDs. And we got some great insight there too. The problem was I wanted to get promoted. And there was one guy blocking me, the VP of sales. He didn't like me. He would tell the CEO I wasn't strategic enough. He was just the kind of guy who would vomit on your ham. So I needed a big win, and we were going to go after Dutch Masters, Dutchies. They were the big thing on the East Coast. Oh yeah, some fans in the back there. So from 9 to 5 every day, I obsessed on how we were going to get people to stop smoking Dutch Masters and smoke pot with my cigars. My family was very proud. Well, we came up with an idea for a new cigar called Game Cigars. And we had a great name. It was trendy, it worked for the community without being pandering. We had excellent packaging, we had good ideas, the flavoring was great. We just had one problem, and that's called Candela. You see, we had a vanilla cigar, we had a honey cigar, and then a cigar with a Candela wrapper. It had the same honey flavoring as the other cigar, but what do you call it? Candela is a cigar leaf that's taken out of the field after it's harvested and put in these barns where it's heated to like 120 degrees, and it turns the wrapper green and a little more oily. So think about it, a green cigar leaf that's more oily, perfect for smoking weed. But what do we call it? Can't call it Candela. So we're stuck, and this is my big chance to get promoted. So we decided to go to one of those Dutch Master stores, and we are going to go to lunch. So our accountant, Allison, decides she's going to come with us because she wants a free lunch. And sure enough, we walk in on a Tuesday afternoon at 2 o'clock, and there's 2 guys buying Dutch Masters. And the second guy is right out of Central Casting. He's got a do-rag, gold tooth, and he orders the Dutch Master Sports, which is their Candela version. Well, our accountant can't control himself. He jumps up. Hey, my man, I see you're buying the Candela version of Dutch Masters. This guy very politely turns and says, I'm buying the green. Yes, I'm down with that. The Candela version of Dutch Masters. I'm buying the green. I understand completely. You probably don't know this is Candela. Let me explain. Sir, I'm buying the green. And he didn't say it, but we all heard him say, I'm buying the green, mother, you know. The next day, we went to our CEO and told him we were launching Game Cigars in honey, vanilla, and green. No one had called it green before, except the street. He asked us why we were calling it green versus some flavor name, and I said, because I didn't think you'd let me call it green, mother. Game was a huge success. I did get that promotion. Our volume went through the roof, and today it's one of the best-selling cigars of all time. Wow. Last Tuesday, I retired. And it's natural when you retire to think back of all the things you've done at work and all the great people you've worked with. But I'm always going to remember that guy in a do-rag with a gold tooth who reaffirmed that if you treat people with respect and really listen, you might just hear about the green mother, you know.